start of 2025 that you were going to undergo year-round testing by VADA.
My experience of me being a victim of, being cheated.
Is that a fight? Are we ever going to see that fight? What do you think?
Of course. I think that that fight will happen sooner than later. I wanted to just inspire, the young kids before me to and create my own path to go to do it my way. I'm here for a reason. You talk about me for a reason. And I think I'll out for it.
Welcome to the Ring Podcast. My name is Doug Fisher. I'm editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine. And joining me is Devin Haney.
Undefeated WBC lightweight champion of the world, Devin the Dream Haney.
Just beautiful power boxing by Devin Haney. Devin Haney is 30-0.
WBC super lightweight champion. Devin, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to start off on kind of like a note that I think is sort of unfair for you as a young fighter, as accomplished as you are. But I feel like when you fight this year, whenever you step into that ring, people are going to be watching you very closely, like wondering like, oh, is he the same guy? Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, they're watching you. They're like you have to prove something or reprove yourself, even though due to the circumstances of your fight with Ryan Garcia, you're still undefeated. You're 31-0. Mm-hmm. You're still the WBC champion. You're rated number 1 by Ring Magazine at junior welterweight, 140 pounds. You're number 1 according to BoxRec at 140 pounds. You're still in Ring Magazine's pound for pound list. Yeah. Ryan is not in there. Yeah. Ryan is not rated. And yet it's like you're kind of the one that people are looking at under a magnifying glass, so to speak. Like as a young champion, it's like, does it seem unfair to you?
I take it as a positive in a way because I feel like in whatever job, whatever field you're in, you got to keep proving yourself no matter what. So, it's just a way of me, going to go prove myself again to the world. And it's not the first and it won't be the last. I want to keep proving myself. I want to keep showing the world how great I am and, turning the non-believers into believers.
So it doesn't irk you at all, though. Before we started this podcast, I was talking to your father, and you reminded me you were the youngest undisputed champion of the 4-belt era. You were 23 years old, so you're a former undisputed lightweight champion. Mm-hmm. You outpointed a legend in Vasily Lomachenko. Yeah. You outclassed Regis Prograis. Yeah. And like I mentioned, you're undefeated in 31 professional fights. There's a kind of like, hey guys, what? Like,
at the end of the day,
if I haven't proven myself already, what more do I have to do?
You just it's sports. You always gotta prove yourself. In basketball, you still gotta go out every night, every season, and go prove yourself. Football, boxing, it's part of the game, and I'm okay with that. I'm a competitor. This is why I love the fight game. So I take it as a positive.
It seems like you take it as motivation.
Of course. It's part of it, like I said.
What do you think people are looking for?
Like you said, if they want to see, if I'm the same. After I was cheated, it's question marks, and they just want to see if I'm gonna be the same Devin or even a better Devin.
Right. But don't you think it's weird? Don't you think Ryan Garcia should have the question marks?
Oh, like, no, he has those question marks too.
He had the banned substance in his system.
Yeah, no, he has those question marks too. The world wants to see if he's the same when he's off PEDs.
That's a good point. Speaking of banned substances, you announced at the start of 2025 that you were going to undergo year-round testing by VADA. Yeah, I think VADA is the best because whenever we learn, like 9 out of 10 times, when we learn that there's a banned substance in a fighter's system, it's usually a VADA test, right?
For sure.
So and they offer this, right? They offer the year-round testing. Almost nobody ever takes them up on that. Yeah. Like what motivated you to sign up for year-round testing, and what does that mean for like folks that aren't aware of that? What does that mean?
Just from my experience of me being a victim of being cheated and me knowing how important it is to be in that ring and be clean and to be on an even playing field. I became I want to be an advocate for clean athletes in general, especially boxing, because we in there we taking punishment. We putting our lives on the line. So I think it's very important for clean athletes in combat sports. Most importantly, so now I'm involved in year-round testing, VADA testing. The most superior, the most the most important test. Like they're the most strict.
Everything.
They're the most strict.
Yeah.
And because I just want to inspire the kids that's after me, the people now, to do the same, and even my future opponents.
Do you think they will?
They will have
I'm
no
talking about
choice.
like your peers, like so fighters that are in and around your weight class.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't.
to your
If you don't
age.
have if you don't have nothing to hide, why wouldn't you?
Right. But what do you expect though? Because I mean, I'm trying to think like who else has done this, right? I can think of one fighter in the last 15 years that underwent year-round testing by VADA, and that was Nonito Donaire.
Yeah.
And I think I was like 2012 or, you know what I mean? It's a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I think that
And you know what? It was a big deal when he did it. Like people like applauded him. And I remember at the time, people are thinking like, all right, this is really good because this is going to encourage others to do that. And I don't think, I could be wrong. Maybe Tim Bradley did. I'm not quite sure, but there were no takers. And every now and then in boxing, you have somebody like make a stand on something. Like I remember.
I think it all starts somewhere, and I think what better time than now where we've seen a guy, cheat and get suspended, and which is I think this was the biggest time in ever, that in boxing that we caught somebody cheating, and it was a big thing about it. The whole world, seen it. So I think what better time than now?
Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about your future, and I want to talk about, because I thought it was great that you and Ryan got together, because I remember maybe it was just 4 years ago or 5 years ago. You guys were really young, and you and Ryan and Gervonta Davis and Teofimo Lopez, you're all in the same weight class. You're all up and comers. You're all undefeated. And the anticipation was like, these guys are all going to fight each other. You got like the new four kings, the four kings of the new era. And kudos to you. Kudos to Ryan for fighting Tank Davis, and for challenging you for the WBC title, even though he didn't make the weight. But it hasn't happened, and it's like, will it happen to where you guys all mix up? I mentioned that you were number one contender for, according to Ring Magazine, at 140. The Ring Magazine champion is still Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
Is that a fight? Are we ever going to see that fight? What do you think?
Of course. I think that that fight will happen sooner than later. I think eventually all these fights will happen, because we're all just growing together. We're all just, we will all clash, like me and Ryan did, like Tank and Ryan did. I think eventually we'll all cross paths.
Even if it happens at welterweight.
Even if
can you see yourself? I mean, sometimes I look at you and I'm like, that guy's a welterweight.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. I think that it would happen at sooner than later, at whatever way. I think that it will happen sooner or later.
What is it that makes you like so confident that you and Teofimo that fight can happen?
No, I mean, I think that all these fights will happen. I think that we're all crossing paths. We're all going to cross paths. We're all growing together. Like it only makes sense. And these are some of the biggest fights in the world.
Yeah, no, we need them to happen. I hear a lot of people talk about like Riyadh season and these big fights taking place in Saudi Arabia or big fights happening in other parts of the world, but not happening in the United States.
Yeah.
And I've heard some American fans kind of just gruntled saying like, well, they're taking all the big fights are going to Saudi Arabia. And I think to myself, like, no, the big fights that have happened in Saudi Arabia, you're talking about like the undisputed heavyweight championship between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, or the undisputed light heavyweight championship between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, those fights weren't going to happen in the U.S. Those aren't Americans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if Usyk Fury were to happen anywhere outside of Riyadh, it would have happened in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it makes economic sense.
Yeah.
If Beterbiev Bivol were to happen anywhere, I guess Montreal, you know,
Yeah.
Beterbiev's second home. That's where it makes economic sense. American fans, for the most part, you correct me if I'm wrong, they want to watch American fighters, the best young American fighters go at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what made me a fan, is watching Sugar Ray Leonard fight Tommy Hearns. You know, the anticipation between Leonard fighting Marvin Hagler. You know, at one time, those were the biggest fights in all of boxing. It was the top two Americans fighting, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
in America. I feel like that's not happening enough with the current generation. How is that going to change?
I mean, I can't say. I mean,
And I'm not putting it on you, because you've obviously been willing to
Yeah.
fight the others.
yeah, no, for sure.
It seems like they haven't been as willing to fight you. That's what
I mean,
I'm saying.
Your Excellency, what better person to make that can make it happen than him? I think that he can make these fights happen. He's bringing everybody together. No matter if it happens in America or happens in overseas, maybe in Saudi or wherever it is. I think if anybody can make these fights happen, it could be him.
Do you think free agency is kind of part of this equation? I know Teofimo Lopez has made some news. He's been making this kind of noise and news for years. Sort of has like a love-hate relationship with Top Rank or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I recognize that you and your father have kind of done it your way
Yeah.
your entire career. You've worked with certain promoters at different points. It's never been like long-term stuff. Which, come to think of it, wasn't that much different than Sugar Ray Leonard
Mm-hmm.
out of the Olympics. It's, he would do a deal here, but it was just for one fight or maybe one or two fights, and then he would be back to a free agent. And it seems to have served you well. You had your time with Matchroom. You had a couple fights with Top Rank. But correct me if I'm wrong, you're unattached, right?
Yeah. I think that's what makes it easier for me to get to big fights, because I could work with anybody, any promoter, to make these big fights happen. And I mean, that's just what makes my career, my situation unique.
It seems like that's different than most young fighters. I know a lot of guys. They're aiming, like even before they turn pro. I know just from being around the gyms in Southern California, like I'll talk to a young amateur and he's like, "Yeah, I'm aiming for Golden Boy," or somebody else would be like, "No, I'm going to relocate to Vegas and I'm going to sign with Top Rank." And you hear.
I think that I have a lot of impact on a lot of young fighters now starting to do it. Say that they want to do it the Devin Haney way. They want to do it. They want to take my route and start their own promotion or be free agents and try to work with different promoters. And I think over the years, we're going to see that a lot more.
Does it make it harder though, especially like in the beginning when you need to fight a lot as a prospect? Is it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, as you see, I went to Mexico. I started my career in Mexico, and this is before Mexico was even like a popular thing, or it's much more popular now. We see a bunch of fighters going to Mexico now, but this was
right. And in Mexico, you can be 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And you can fight.
I
Were you that age?
I think you could, I was 17. I think you could even be like 15 and go pro in Mexico. I think Canelo did that. 15.
Yeah. That's not uncommon for Mexican nationals. It is a little bit uncommon for U.S. nationals.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you kind of like set that trend?
Yeah, I mean,
because Ryan did the same thing, did he not?
Yeah. He went after me though. But
I know.
Yeah, no, I think that I've definitely set the trend, and that was the plan. I wanted to just inspire the young kids before me to and create my own path to go to do it my way, and yeah.
How did you have that mindset, and how did you have like the confidence that was going to work out for you?
I mean, through my father. My father put the plan together, but we didn't have, we didn't know if it, for sure if it would work. We just, trusted the process, and it worked. It went good. Yeah.
I'm trying to think when I first met you, you were a kid, and I think it was the Porters. I think it was Sean Porter and his dad, and I'm in Vegas covering a big fight. I'm in like the media center, maybe the MGM Grand, maybe Mandalay Bay. I don't remember. It's probably MGM Grand. And I think it was Sean. It's like, hey, this young man's a future world champion. And this happens. You get a lot of folks, and like 1 out of 50 actually pans out or whatever. But I had heard about you. I'd heard about you from Zab Judah as well. So I'm guessing you had these folks who were entrenched in boxing and boxing veterans like Sean Porter and especially Zab Judah. Like, did you talk to them about this? Like, because they went a different route. I mean, I know Judah was with Main Events, and then Don King and probably back to Main Events. Like, they had like promoters, and it was like the old system. Yeah, no,
it was just me and my dad's plan. No, we didn't get like no real insight from none of the like champions, and then a lot of people were trying to like talk us out of it, really, to be honest, because they were saying like, don't go to Mexico. You may get robbed, may get a bad decision.
You might literally get robbed. Yeah, Tijuana's tough.
Mexico is corrupt and this and that. But we had our mindset, and like I said, here we are now.
Yeah. How do you look back at that experience, the Tijuana experience?
No, it made me into the champion that I am today. Fighting in bars, fighting, with the whole crowd, everybody's against me, everybody in the place is against me. It made me, ready for moments like going to Australia twice, and doing those things.
You seem to handle it really well, and not just like the in-arena experience of maybe not being the crowd favorite, but also it seems in the realm of social media, which I think can be tough on young fighters. Like, fighters always have had to deal with criticism, but I don't think previous generations have been as connected to fans and some like whack jobs, you know what I mean? Yeah. Thanks to social media or whatever. And I think some people handle it better than others. It seems like you're handling it well.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not saying that people are all hating on you all the time, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
You're any public figure is going to be.
I just use it as motivation, and I'm here for a reason. They talk about me for a reason, and I thank Allah for it.
All right. Well, listen, I want to commend you for undergoing the year-round testing from VADA.
Thank you.
I really hope that you inspire your peers.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I'm old and jaded.
I will. Especially my future opponents. They have to be.
Will you pressure them?
Of course. Okay. I just want to be on an even playing field. I don't have nothing to hide, and my opponent shouldn't have nothing to hide. So it should be, nothing to sign up for year-round testing and to make these big fights happen.
Listen, I'm looking forward to the big fights. I'll appreciate them more knowing it's on an even playing field. Yes, so I commend you for that. And I'll be watching you closely in 2025, but not looking for any sort of faults or anything, just because I'll be appreciating your craft.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Devin.
Thank you.